Alrighty, guys, eFootball 23, Season 5, I believe, Phase 12. Let's talk about some of the free nominating contract game changing players, in my opinion, especially if you're one of those players who does not buy coins at all and go in totally RTG. In my opinion, the players that will change your game. Let's start with number one. As you can see, I've signed them myself as well. So in this particular order, I would go number one, Lobotka, number two, Turam, number three, Isaac, number four, the goalkeeper, Buono. Think about which one of them do you need for your team and go for that one in particular. Let's start with Lobotka. I think at base level, orchestrator, he's more of an offensive-minded orchestrator, but considering his skill, he doesn't have any defensive skill. So if you train him defensively, you absolutely need blocker interception. That's the two main things. I'm trying to simplify things and not make this video too long. Can't go in full detail because I want to review all of them quickly for you guys. So, in my opinion, he's the first to sign. Secondly, him. Third, him. And finally, the goalkeeper. Now, when it comes to Thuram, I have to say, for the guy who's 192, I've tried his standard card. Super agile for the guys who's 192. Again, he's more of an offensive-minded box-to-box. It's difficult to make him defensive, considering his defensive ability, awareness, engagement, and tackling at base level, it's not that high. But super skillful. Want to make him too defensive still? I think box-to-box usually track back, interception, blocker is good. He has interception, he has sliding tackle. We'll probably give him fighting spirit, track back, through passing, these skills. I think I've posted a little bit of a section in the YouTube community, which skill are a must for which position of the players. You can check that out. And third, you might thinking, yes, the meta of the game is always Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, Romario, these fast players. But a player like Isaac could change your game because the flick passing in the game, you make a little circle cross, Isaac with his head, pass it to Romario, boom, tap in. So this is kind of the way the flick pass work. And let me show you here quickly for those of you guys who don't understand fully what I'm talking about. Like in this kind of situation, you can see this player's got the ball. He's going to pass it to the other white shirt guy, and the white shirt guy, boom, taps it in. Same scenario here. A header to the guy with the afro, to his teammate who's wearing white. That's called the flick. So let's say this is Isaac, and he's going to pass it to Mbappe. Boom, first time finish. So I know players that are dominating in top 500 simply spamming that kind of style of play. So again, for the big guy who's 192, I think he's super agile for a big guy. I've used his standard card often. And combined with his skill, he's got acrobatic finishing, first time showed, which is important for a striker. He's got soul control. You can use a knock on the ball stationary, boom, and finish as well, which is effective. Outside color as well. That makes him, his weak foot is not that bad. And kind of a one-footed in a way, but outside color helps. So he's got most of the finishing skill. He's got flip flap, soul control. If you give him double touch, you'll be able to do the special double touch. It used to be called Neymar ball rule in a way, because Neymar was the only player he could do it. In terms of training him, again, like if you play long ball counter, you can never go wrong giving your striker speed, but it's very difficult to make a big guy turn like Messi or Mbappe. Don't use him like Messi and Mbappe in a way. You got to give him clean, nice, not complicated balls, unless you want to pump up his ball control and tight position to make him good running with the ball and at soul dribbling. So all depends how you're going to train him. And finally, this guy right here, as I said, is difficult to make him defensive-minded. And combined with his skill, probably will give him blocker, will give him fighting spirit. He's got double touch and soul control. If you give him flip-flop, you can do the Neymar ball rule as well. If you don't understand what I'm talking about in terms of Neymar ball rule, football is called special double touch. For instance, this is a double touch skill, simple double touch skill. That's the animation. That's what it looks like. You've probably seen it. People use it against you a lot, and it's effective. Special double touch, it's kind of a Neymar ball rule. You kind of roll the ball with your feet. So just to clear that out for those of you guys don't know. Those of you who do know, remember some people doesn't. So in terms of training, as I said, if you understand player ability combined with player skill, then you can never go wrong training your players. Just quickly right here, if I was to make Lobotka my main defensive midfielder, like the main defensive midfielder that is going to stay back and is not going to join attack too much, and his job is basically intercept, spread the ball. nothing else, then I could easily go every ability here 90. I can easily do that. And then from here, I can make that 78 and a little bit here. Boom. So if I was to train him for Lopotka for the meta of the game, right? And meta of the game is about quick passing, beating the transition between attack and defense. So if I was to train him like this, then I wouldn't do anything more complicated with him. Just intercept, spread the ball. You don't want to receive the ball, especially if your opponent's playing quick counter. Because he's got all defensive ability 90 while still having speed and acceleration 80, and ball control, tight position, low pass, everything 80 as well. Physically, he's a bit weak for a defensive midfielder, but collision system is weird. Even Pedri can knock off Patrick Vieira sometimes. I know we should focus on the positive side, but ignoring some of the nonsense in the game, it's a little bit difficult for me. So whether you play quick counter, long ball counter, I think 80 speed, 80 acceleration, even for quick counter is fine. And of course, if you like to go a little bit more balance, or if you play long ball counter, then you don't necessarily need all these ability to be 90. I mean, it's good if that's what you want from your main defensive midfielder, but beyond that, you don't need that. If you want to train him as your center midfielder, like a midfielder who's joint attack, he's an orchestrator, remember, he drops often, then in that case, you still want to go to green here, green here. You want to pump up his dribbling so you can trust him on the ball for slow dribbling and running with the ball. You want to give his passing at least both of them 85. It's difficult to do anything here because if you give him 8 points, physical contact just goes 70 and jumping 69. So I'm not saying give him nothing. That's something you can decide for yourself. Personally, for a player like him, I don't think will make a massive difference considering that just physical contact goes to 80. But that jump going to 80, it does help in a way. Trust me on that one. So that could be, in a way, is essential. Can't say it's personal preference, but if I was to train him personally, for me, if I was to play position game, then I would definitely go something like this if I was to play position game. But let's talk about the more balanced training. Let's say, or if you play quick counter, then I will go 8 here. I will go 8 here as well. In fact, I would go 90 balance. If I was to train him myself, for me, this is how I would like Lopotka. I would like that stamina to be 90. I would like the balance to be 90. Hell, I would like that kicking power to be at least green tier 2. From here, I think the passing is okay. You can give him more. But because he's an orchestrator, you got to make sure these are still green tier. Still got 2 points left. So this is why it makes him so good and is absolutely free. You can make him super defensive, super agile, fast, for all playing style. So if you got him, let me know which training you go for and comment back on the YouTube or Twitter or Discord. Give me your feedback. We all learn from each other. Secondly, I would say with Isaac, again, you can't go wrong with him. You can make him the dribbler. You can make him super fast. I think every key ability should be green tier in my opinion. Finishing 80 is too low. And again, this is where it comes a little bit difficult, right? He's a big guy. We want to give him a little bit more physical strength and jumping. However, you can save yourself a lot of points here by simply give him area superiority and heading, those 2 skills. He's still going to need a little bit of a jump, maybe minimum 6. Personally, I would go for something like this to make heading at least 12. And if I can, that way I'll make his finishing at least. If I can reach, I think 8, I would totally go with something like this. But that means his dribbling is not that good. I wouldn't give him too many complicated goals. It's more of a touch, direct, turn, boom, score. This is if I was to play long ball counter. If you play quick counter for the big guy, then you kind of have to use him like Haaland. You need speedsters with him. Because if you give him 8 point, here it goes to 86. You want that offense awareness to be high. You can't waste 15 points on that because you still got dribbling, you still got finishing. So I would go for something like this. Something like this would be fine. Maybe take a chunk here and make this like minimum green tier. So at this point like this, if you want to get this balance to 80 and offense awareness to 90, this will make him more of a fast, direct, kind of a Haaland style goal poacher in a way. But actually, he's got better balance than Haaland. And dribble and ball control type position than Haaland. But Haaland is faster with higher acceleration and finishing. Now, finally, let's talk about him. Again, he's a skillful player. He's more of offensive minded. You can give him 8 points. It goes to 87. You're going to give him maybe 8 here. For me, 87 speed, 80 acceleration, the gap is too much. In my opinion, your acceleration should always be higher than speed. Otherwise, your players take extra touches and weird animations, especially for players that you're going to run with the ball often with him. If you make him too defensive, his job is going to be intercept, go. You're not going to move with the ball with him, but he isn't that defensive. So with this one, a little bit complicated to train him the way you want it to be. But because he's a center midfielder, you want to make at least his low pass getting tier because he still have some passing skills. And give him a little bit of defending, maybe just 3 points for now, and then decide whether you want to make him more defensive by giving him more defensive skills or offensive skills. Defensively, he needs. I think we spoke about that already. So from here, I personally like him to make him a dribbler. I want him to be good running with the ball, dribbling 90, especially when he's that fast. And then maybe get that balance to 80 minimum. And then acceleration, I can make him faster, of course. You can try this training, like, speed is being 3 points higher. It's not that much. Usually you don't want it to be like 4 or 5, in my opinion. For me, even like has to be something like this for me. I like acceleration to be 2 minimum higher than speed. But you can try this training and let me know. Again, this is not a final version of things. There are more details and things to talk about when you train a player. But we're trying to make this video a little bit shorter than nobody watches a 10-minute video. And when it comes to the goalkeeper, again, with goalkeepers, it's very simple. Tall goalkeepers are the main thing on the game. Like even Casillas is 187 considered short for eFootball. So when it comes to goalkeepers, the main important ability in this particular order, top 3. Awareness, reflex, and reach. If the goalkeeper is tall like him, then awareness, reflex, and then reach. If he's shorter, like below 190, then awareness, reach, and then reflex. I mean, reflex is as important, but if your goalkeeper is shorter, it will need more reach than reflex. Because it's difficult to make a short guy to have 90 reach and 90 reflex. So for me, if I was to train him, I've trained a lot of goalkeepers very differently. Because he's a big guy, I want to try to max out his reflex. But then again, if I do that, other abilities kind of struggle. So if I make this 90 and maybe make this 85, get this 90. Now, of course, 85 reach, 81 parrying. Parrying, higher parrying, he's going to parry the ball into safe areas to prevent rebound goals. Sometimes when it happens, it just happens. I have goalkeepers with 90 padding as well. It happens. When the rebound is supposed to happen, it will happen. Sometimes your defender just stands there. You can't do anything and a rebound happens. So it's not always the goalkeepers. So in my opinion, try this training and give me a feedback. Let me know what you think. I think I'm going to try him like this. I'm making a no legend team as well. I play with 1-star, 2-star. I play with variation different squads on a live stream. You can join me on twitch.tv PSEB Live. Try this training. The second version for me would be maybe make his reflex and awareness both 88 and pump up his reach maybe to 88 so that his padding will be a bit higher. But beyond that, guys, hope you find the video useful. Comment down below, share, and subscribe. It helps. Till next time. Ciao for now.